Mrs. Who, Part 2. A board was nailed across the front door, but Charles Wallace led the way around to the back. The door there appeared to be shut there, too, but Charles Wallace knocked, and the door swung slowly outward, creaking on rusty hinges. Up in one of the elms, an old black crow gave its ruckus cry, and a woodpecker went into a wild rat-a-tat-tat on some tree not far behind. A large gray rat scuttled around the corner of the house, and Meg let out a stifled shriek. They get a lot of fun out of using all the typical props, Charles Wallace said in a reassuring voice. Come on, follow me. Calvin put a strong hand to Meg's elbow, and Fort was pressed against her leg. Happiness at their concern was so strong in her that for the moment her panic fled, and she followed Charles Wallace into the dark recesses of the house without any fear. They entered into sort of a kitchen. There was a large fireplace with a big black pot hanging over a merry fire. Why had there been no smoke visible from the chimney? Something in the pot was boiling, and it smelled more like one of Miss Murray's chemical messes than something that someone should eat. In a dilapidated Boston rocker sat a plump little woman. She wasn't Miss Whatsit, so she must, Meg decided, be one of Miss Whatsit-two's friends. She wore enormous spectacles, twice as thick and twice as large as Meg's, and she was sewing busily, with rapid, jabbing stitches on a sheet. Several other sheets lay on the dusty floor. Charles Wallace went right up to her. I really don't think you ought to have taken Miss Buncombe's sheets without consulting me, he said, as cross and as bossy as only a very small boy could be. What on earth did you need them for? The plump little woman responded at him. Why, Charlesy, my pet. Le cœur a ses raisons que la raison ne connaît point. French, Pascal. The heart has its reasons, whereof reason knows nothing. But that's not appropriate at all, Charles Wallace said crossly. Your mother would find it so. A smile seemed to gleam through the roundness of the spectacles. I'm not talking about my mother's feelings about my father, Charles Wallace is scolding. I'm talking about Miss Buncombe's sheets. The little woman sighed. The enormous glasses caught the light again and shone like owl's eyes. In case we need ghosts, of course, she said. I should think you'd have guessed. If we have to frighten anybody away, Miss Whatsit thought we would do it appropriately. That's why it's so much fun to stay in a haunted house. But we really didn't mean you to know about the sheets. Aufrischer Tat ertappt. German. In flagrant delicto. Latin. Caught in the act. English, as I was saying. But Charles Wallace held up his hand in a peremptory gesture. Mrs. Who, do you know this boy? Calvin bowed. Good afternoon, ma'am. I didn't quite catch your name. Mrs. Who will do, the woman said. He wasn't my idea, Charlesy, but I think he's a good one. Where's Miss Whatsit? Charles asked. She's busy. It's getting near time, Charlesy. Getting near time. Ab honesto virum bonum nihil dirtet. Seneca. Nothing deters a good man from doing what is honorable. And he's a very good man, Charlesy, darling. But right now, he needs our help. Who? Meg demanded. And little Megsy. Lovely to meet you, sweetheart. Your father, of course. Now go home, loves. The time is not yet ripe. Don't worry. We won't go without you. Get plenty of food and plenty of rest. Feed Calvin up. Now off with you. Justice soror fides. Latin again, of course. Faith is the sister of justice. Trust in us. Now shoo! And she fluttered up from her chair and pushed them out the door with surprising power. Charles, Meg said, I don't understand. Charles took her by the hand and dragged her away from the house. Fortinbras ran on ahead, and Calvin was close behind them. No, he said. I don't either, yet. Not quite. I'll tell you what I know as soon as I can. But you saw Fort, didn't you? Not a growl, not a quiver, just as though there wasn't anything strange about it. So you know it's okay. Look, do me a favor, both of you. Let's not talk about this until we've had something to eat. I need fuel so I can sort things out and assimilate them properly. Lead on, moron, Calvin cried gaily. I've never seen your house, and I have the funniest feeling that for the first time in my life, I'm going home. Chapter 3, tomorrow.